This is Saxon Math for 6th grade. Today we're doing lesson 96. We're going to be talking about estimating angles and the distributive property. Let's start with estimating angles. You've all wanted to do this for a long time. We've never let you because of course you never know if the pictures they draw are to scale. But today we're going to talk just a little bit about how to make an estimate if the picture is to scale and if they will allow you to do so. The easiest way to think about it, I think, is to think about 90 degrees. You know that a perfect L is a perfect 90-degree angle. So when you see another angle, you can compare it to 90 degrees. Is it a little less? Maybe it's in the 80s or the 70s. Is it a little more? Maybe it's 95 or 100 or 110. And then I think about the middle. I know that half of a 90-degree angle would be 45. Is it less than the 45? Is it greater? And that helps me to get a general idea. Another way to do it is to think about a clock. The hands on the clock move from minute to minute all the way around. As you know, there are 60 minutes on the clock, and there are 360 degrees in a circle. If we take that 360 degrees in the circle and we divide by the 60 little marks on the clock, the 60 minutes, we're left with 6. That means about every 1 minute on the clock, 1, 2, 3, represents about 6 degrees of change. So if you have an angle and you compare it to a clock and you think, that's from about 12 o'clock till about 2 o'clock, then you'd say, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes. And I remember that each minute was worth about 6 degrees. So this angle then is probably about 10 times 6, or about 60 degrees. You can of course estimate, and then you probably should go get a protractor and measure to see how you did. But these are 2 ways that you can use to estimate an angle. It will help you to know if your work is correct. All right, so that's estimating angles. On to the distributive property. We talked about the distributive property at the beginning of the year. We haven't talked about it much since. The distributive property means that if you have a number multiplied by we'll give you a number multiplied by a quantity. Maybe our quantity is, 3 plus 4. Usually when you solve something like this, you would add the 3 on the floor and then multiply times 2. That's our order of operations. The distributive property says that you can do it another way. You can instead multiply the 2 times the 3 and then add the 2 times the 4. So it would look like 2 times 3 plus 2 times 4. You should get the same answer. Let's check it and see. 3 plus 4 is 7 times 2 is 14. Let's try it with the distributive property. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 2 times 4, which is 8. 6 plus 8 is 14. These are 2 ways to get the same answer. Now you are more sophisticated than you were at the beginning of the year. Our problems now have variables in them. When you have a variable, you write it out this way, but instead of whatever the number is, you just leave it as x. Let's see what that looks like. If I had 2 times the quantity x plus 4. Well, now I wouldn't be able to solve it using order of operations. I can't add x plus 4 right now. I don't know what x is. I can use the distributive property to help me write it a little differently. To do that, I'd take 2 times x plus 2 times 4. Same way as I did before. I would write it as 2 times x. I can put the x in parentheses if I like. That makes more sense to me. Or I can set it right next to it without parentheses. Both ways are mathematically correct. 2 times x plus 2 times 4. 2 times 4. I'm not going to be able to find an answer for this because I don't have x, but I am able to rewrite it this way. And this is all you need to do for these problems. Be careful of your negatives. It works with both positive and negative numbers in all cases. So for example, if I had negative 3 times the quantity, negative 2 minus x. Negative 3 times negative 2 minus negative 3 times x. Negative 3 times negative 2 minus negative 3 times x. Negative 3 times negative 2, I can at least do that much. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. Minus negative 3 times x. Well, negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And minus a negative is a positive. So it would be plus 3x. 6 plus 3x would be my final answer. Use the distributive property and your own way of estimating to solve the lettered problems today.